All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning, hour number 3. This hour, I want to get back into a couple other games from yesterday. We didn't wrap up the weekend's games because we spent most of the time talking about the coaching searches and firing of Hugh Freeze. But I did want to bring up a couple other coaches here quickly, Greg, because they're beginning to make the rounds in a lot of places.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny Dillingham at Arizona State.
Yeah.
Brent Key at Georgia Tech.
Yes.
Jeff Brom at Louisville.
Okay.
Clark Lee at Vanderbilt. All have what in common?
They're at alumni.
So when you start to hear these guys' names, I want to know if you're more in the camp of course they would leave. It's a better job, better chance to win. Or the camp that I think that I'm in of, why do you think you can get him to leave that place? First off, which side of this would you be on? And I understand sometimes it's the job. You know, if it's Texas, it's different. It's the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, I get it. But to just throw these guys' names out like they're all ready to pack up and go, ready to go coach somewhere else. Are you in on that? Or are you more in line with you really think you can get him out of there, huh?
I think it's a lot less attractive to leave for the unknown now than it was, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I think being able to garner support amongst those that also went to school where you are currently coaching, that can be really valuable for you. So I acknowledge very much the importance, the notion of don't mess with happy. And if you're happy at your alma mater, stick around. So I agree. I also think at the same time that a lot of these guys, they want to win a national championship. And you ask them gun to head, where is an easier place to win a national championship? At, say, Auburn, LSU, Florida, or at your current job? You don't get statues for winning 8 games. You don't get statues for winning conference titles, frankly. You get statues for natties, and that's what these guys want. So who can blame them, by the way? Who can blame them? I certainly can't. I don't blame them at all. If I were in the business of coaching college football, I want to be the top program, not just the top program in my conference. So I understand it, but that's why I think they'll still listen. It won't be as easy as it once was to get a guy to listen.
It's going to have to be a big job, the right job, a massive move. And like you said, one that comes with a lot of those inherent advantages that they would go leave. Like I've heard people talk about Kenny Dillingham taking LSU or taking some of these other jobs. And then I hear about the fact that his wife is having a baby, I think in January, and they're living a couple of miles from where they grew up and they're close to her parents. And it's kind of like, all right, yeah, I don't see him getting out of there anytime soon.
No.
You hear people talk about Brent Key leaving for, let's just say, if he were to be a candidate at Auburn. And you're like, well, but he played football at Georgia Tech. Well, he also grew up 20 minutes from where we are right now.
Right.
Coached at Alabama, knowing good and well what that rivalry is, knowing this state extremely well.
Right.
You start thinking, man, is that realistic? Because on its surface, I would say, you're not getting Brent out of Atlanta. Like, he's not going to leave there. It's incredible what he's doing. He's a perfect fit for that place.
Sure.
Even though I said I'm not going to say fit in reference to coaches anymore.
Understandable.
But it's working.
It is.
He played there. That's home for him. But he's a lot closer to the actual home here.
Right.
So it's an interesting thought because I go back and forth on some of these. And I think I immediately tell myself when these names come up, when somebody says Jeff Brom at Florida would just work. Or Jeff Brom at LSU would work.
Yes.
Like the Brom name in Louisville is the name.
Correct.
Now that Papa John's is not the name there anymore, Brom is. But then you start putting some of the pieces together and you say, oh, man. And Clark Lee is one that I feel like it's the one that it's the low-hanging fruit for people, and they say, oh, yeah, he would take that. He would take that. He would take that.
Yes.
I actually think he would be harder to get out of there than the others because of what he was up against to make this work and has. I think that makes that one more difficult to leave.
Right. Fair enough.
But just me personal. Now, I've also had a lot of off-the-record conversations with him about where he is, what he's doing, how he's done it. I also know people in that building. I've talked to them about it. To get that thing to where it is. Now, maybe some people who discuss this, Greg, they don't think the sustainability is possible, or they don't think that he can keep this anywhere close to what it was, that there is no more Diego Pavia coming. And
right.
You still got Tim Beck running the offense.
It's true.
Still got Jerry Kill helping you. Find a quarterback with some mobility and toughness, and you don't think a Haynes King would work in that system?
Sounds good. Quick question. Who did Clark Lee work for at some point in the last 5 or 6 years?
Brian Kelly.
Yes. Who else? Who are his mentors?
BK is not one of those guys?
BK's one. Left a good situation. Next.
You're going to have to help me. It's
Mike Elko is his number one mentor. Left pretty good situation.
Yeah.
Twice. He left Notre Dame's defensive coordinator job for A&M and left A&M's defensive coordinator job for Duke and had it going at Duke and left for A&M. And then who's the last guy? That'd be Dave Clawson, who is the coach at Wake Forest, or was the coach at Wake Forest. And what did he not do? Leave.
Yeah.
And what did that ultimately result in? Staying at the place too long, writing the program down, and no longer being as competitive as they once were 3 or 4 years before.
The welcome wore out.
And it's not about that. It's just that you can only, at a place that struggles to sustain, you can only stay there so long. It's just the reality. And I love Clark. And if Clark stays, I will be more happy than anybody. I'll be so proud of him. It'd be great. But guess what? I don't think he will. Because of what his mentors, if he were to call right now and say, hey, Mike Elko, I'm struggling here. I'm at my alma mater. I love it. We got it going. We're having all-time great success. No one's ever had more success than we have in Vanderbilt football history than we have had this year. Give me some advice. What do you think the advice would be for Mike? Hey, I'm being offered the Penn State job. What do you think Mike Elko would tell Clark Lee?
You got to go.
You got to go. You do. It's not negative. It's just the realities. It's just hard. It's hard to win. It's hard to sustain.
And that place inherently, where he is now, has been the hardest to win.
Yes.
In the SEC and to sustain when you do kind of finally get a couple things going and feel like you have things headed in a positive direction. That's why I wanted to bring this up. I think it's an interesting conversation.
I hate it. I hate that that's a reality, but at some places it's one thing. For example, Lane Kiffin, if he decided to stay at Ole Miss, would not surprise me. You know what I mean? He's got it going. They can make the playoff. They have access. They might have a chance.
Yeah, that one's a little different than these guys. But
correct.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
But at Louisville, at Georgia Tech, at Vanderbilt, at places like that, man, I think it's tougher. And the reason why I think it's tougher is, well, at Louisville, I don't know if it is.
I was going to say, I feel like Louisville's been on the brink.
Louisville's been in the mix for baseball for forever. They've won national championships in basketball. Louisville's, they're
kind of. We took the banners down, but
fair enough. Who cares? Yeah, but what's his face still has the tattoo.
They feel like a team of the teams that we mentioned there. They feel like the team that could
sustain,
be closest most often.
Correct.
To me. But we're also in a new era. We're in a new day and age of college football. Is that enough to keep some of these guys home? Where it might not just be you have to be at A&M or Penn State or wherever else.
Yes.
To be able to go out and find that sustainability and continued success in college football.
No, you don't need that anymore. You don't need that anymore at all. You don't need to be at a high-level program or a traditionally, historically relevant program to win. You don't. But I still think the teams and the programs that are historically relevant will always have a natural built-in advantage, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. They will always have an advantage. Always. And people say this all the time. I've had a really, really nice conversation with some people that I have a lot of respect for and admiration for when it comes to evaluating the world. They're very successful in business. We had this conversation just the other day. There is right now a little bit of a world in which the teams with deep pockets, the team with high-profile talent, they actually operate at a slight disadvantage from a mentality standpoint because things are comfortable for a lot of the guys that they recruit. Whereas at places like Georgia Tech, at places like Vanderbilt, there is a real chip on the shoulder, blue collar, hardworking mentality that will pay dividends. Like you have Fat and Happy, you have Grinder. And like there's some people that think, we need to kind of become more Grinder than Fat and Happy. And I think there's something to be said about that, but you still need the Fat and Happy recruit every once in a while to help take you over the top. But
right.
Mixed with said Grinder, that could be a really nice blend. But you're probably not going to be able to get the Fat and Happy recruit at a lot of the places that we just referenced. How many high-profile transfers does Vanderbilt have? One, the left tackle, Glass.
I wouldn't even go high profile.
Well, he's the only one that had like 10 offers.
I'm trying to think of the highest profile transfer they've gotten in since it's all began. Like maybe the edge kid from Duke a couple years ago who didn't even really pan out that much for him.
Or the kid they got from Bama, Keanu Coate.
Probably Diego Pavia.
Definitely not. So I think it's right now we're in a bit of a reset where you see teams with high profile talent, but then again, they're maybe not as hungry. They're not as driven. They just are naturally comfortable because they're high paid. Like we'll see as things play out over time. Like, are you better off being a Grinder outfit or are you better off being a going and putting together the most expensive roster? Like, we don't know. We don't know what's going to win. Could be a changing landscape. We'll see.
All right, we'll continue talking some college football. Let's get back to some of the games from over the weekend, what we saw, what we thought. We'll mention a couple of those. Before we go to the other side, Greg, tell us was about Bromberg's.
Well, Bromberg's been my go-to for a long time. As the Christmas season is quickly approaching, Bromberg's has been my go-to for years and years and years. I don't remember the last gift I bought somewhere other than Bromberg's, to be completely honest. Like I just have such a great experience. I walk in the door. I know all the sales staff. They're happy to see me. I'm happy to see them. It's that time of year. They're helping me point in the right direction. They have a full inventory of everything I bought my wife in the past. So, hey, this will complement this. Hey, this will go well with this. Hey, this will be helpful with this. Hey, she has that silverware. Why don't you get her something that would go with it here? So they're just so helpful. They know more about what we have than I do. And that's why I always appreciate going in Bromberg's and having that one-of-a-kind personalized experience. There's a reason why they've been in business for nearly 200 years. There's a reason why they'll probably be in business for the next 200 years. They're absolutely incredible. Love Bromberg's. I think you will too. Go and see them in Mountain Brook Village and at the Summit. You can also check them out online at brombergs.com.
All right, more college football and some reviews of games from over the weekend next, right here on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. The Aussie family has a lot of suggestions in the YouTube chat. He chimes in, when will Virginia Tech announce James Franklin as coach? It would be a great fit. Which I actually disagree if we're going to use that phrasing. I don't think that thing works at all. But apparently they do. He also then comments, LSU should hire Joe Brady. Why do we think he wants to coach in college? He then comments that Florida should hire Spencer Danielson. Auburn should hire Summerall. He then comments Oklahoma State should hire Brian Kelly. It would be a great fit. So there you go.
Hang on a second.
Suggestions coming in on the YouTube page. You can watch live every day. Search Jocks945.
I just have nothing to add. I'm kind of at a loss for words on that one. But respect it.
You don't think his suggestions are good fits?
It's just random. It's the most random collection I've ever heard in my life. Like,
Brian Kelly to Oklahoma State.
I mean, is that not the most random thing you've ever heard? Like, I love it. I mean, it'd be awesome.
Tell our listeners about Canty.
Canty can fix it. That's all you got to know. Canty can fix it. That's Cantey, canfixit.com. You go and learn more about what they do. They're foundation specialists. They are great when it comes to foundation repair, crawl space, basement, concrete solutions. Here in Alabama, there's a million different factors that can lead to foundation problems in your home. Soil, shifting, uneven ground, moisture, weather, lots, including just the age of your home. So if you're noticing cracks in the walls, floors, around the windows and doors, if you're noticing those doors and windows not sticking or not closing properly, and then, of course, if you're noticing concrete sinking or uneven driveways, these are issues that could become very problematic down the road. So call Canty Foundation Specialists. They offer free inspections and estimates so homeowners know exactly what's going on under their house, and their work is backed by lifetime transferable warranties. Call them at 205-509-3991 or go online to Canty, C-A-N-T-E-Y, canfixit.com. That's Canty, canfixit.com.
Ohio State takes down Penn State 38-14. They get to 8-0.
Did you watch it?
I've not watched all of it. I have begun to take a peek at it. Actually fell asleep on the plane coming home last night with it on.
Soft.
Yes, very. Julian saying another just incredibly accurate day. 20 of 23, 316, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Bo Jackson ran for 105 yards.
Yep.
Cornell Tate 5 for 124.
Not that Bo Jackson.
Jeremiah Smith 6 for 123. It's kind of more of the same for Ohio State in this game, but they just continue to be an impressive team against, and this is not their fault that this is not an impressive foe. I mean, Penn State was a team that a lot of people picked to win the national championship. So I'm not going to hold it against them. Julian Sayin is now one of just 2 quarterbacks that have multiple 300 passing yard, 4 touchdown passing, over 80% completed games this season. So he has the most in FBS, by the way. But this offense is rolling, G-Mac.
Rolling.
And sometimes I look at some of the things that how crisp and clean they are against whatever level of competition it would be, and it's super impressive.
Very.
I don't know how you can look at it and say just because of who it's against, like we're going to discount that.
You can't. They're legit now. I mean, you could say whatever you want about Julian saying this, that, all the other things. This is a legit outfit. They're very good. And I honestly am not 100% convinced that without question they are by far the best team in college football. I'm not there yet, but I do acknowledge how good this team is. They are really, really solid. Really solid. And I want to see a team that can really test them. I do. I want to see that. I don't know when we're going to see that, but I am pretty optimistic about them being able to compete and go with anybody they might face in college football.
I don't think it's going to be at Purdue. I don't think UCLA at home is going to give them that. Rutgers, nah. I'll say this. Michigan, Bryce Underwood's inconsistent. There's not another way to put it.
No question.
He's got skill.
Tons.
And I think their perimeter weapons are vastly underrated. And if that could be a game where if he kind of continues to grow and figure some things out, I don't know where the coaching situation will be by then, but that could be one that's
What
dangerous.
coaching situation?
Michigan.
Are they thinking about making moves?
I'd be ready for that.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I understand the record and everything is not one that you would normally point to that, but I'd be listening about that potential possibility of something happening there. Yeah, for sure. But I think that's the only team left on the schedule that can test them.
I don't disagree.
When you look at different matchups, though, that's what's hard about this is because there haven't been a lot of teams that have given them legitimate headaches in a lot of fashions of their game. I mean, they've given up 16, 14, 9, 6, and 7, and 3, and 0 twice. So Greg, we haven't even seen an offense that we can say, well, they did this, so be careful. If they have that, they'll struggle with this team. I don't really know.
Yeah.
I know you better be pretty stout up front just physically because that O-line is going to get after you. I know you better be able to operate in coverage because they have 2 receivers that are going to be matchup problems that you just can't really do a whole lot about.
Correct.
So where does that leave us defensively with teams that they potentially are going to face up against? Now let's flip it around. I think if you have a pretty good O-line, you might be able to find some success against them. I don't think it's going to be East-West. And you better have a quarterback that knows what he's doing because you're going to get some looks.
Tons.
And if you got a guy that doesn't see it well and makes mistakes because of what he thinks he sees, this is not the defense for you.
No.
It just isn't.
No, it's a tough defense for sure.
So I don't know who just pops into our brains after saying those things of, oh, yeah, that might be a real matchup problem for them.
I think I think Indiana's a tough matchup for them.
I was just about to say the biggest matchup problem they might see could be in the Big Ten championship game.
Yeah, but because
Indiana's versatile.
And I don't know if that makes a huge difference on what they experience in the postseason. And look, if postseason's so far from now, who knows what it's all going to look like. Maybe Oregon can be a better team in the postseason. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I do know that I would not want to be in a situation where I am having to play from behind against Ohio State. You need to be in control. You need to jump them early. You need to force them to become a little one-dimensional. You got to be able to rush the passer. There's aspects of ways I think you can attack them, but I think it's very difficult. They're one of the more well-constructed teams I've seen so far in college football.
Yeah, I'd be with you there. Okay, moving on. Indiana, who we just mentioned, they handle business. 55-10 against Maryland. Maryland goes to 4-4, 1-4 in the Big Ten. Indiana's 9-0, 6-0 in the Big Ten. Mendoza 201. Didn't really need a lot of him. Keelan Black goes for 110 on the ground. Roman Hemby goes for 88. Roman Hemby's got juice, man.
Yeah, he does.
Omar Cooper's got juice on the perimeter. If you haven't watched these guys play, this is not like some, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, a bunch of grinders on offense Indiana football team.
No.
They're just not. I think I told you my favorite player they have is 37, at tight end. He just gets after you.
Very much so.
They put the number 8, the D lineman in at fullback, and he just wrecks house in short yardage. They're a versatile. I think they might be the most versatile team that I've watched this year, at least on offense.
Yeah.
And they play good defense too. But offensively, they just feel like they can get you so many different ways. And they started out, here's the crazy thing, they started out slow in this game. I mean, they weren't just humming right out of the gate.
Far from it.
Here. But then it's it just kind of builds, and next thing you know, they look unstoppable. So another strong performance from Indiana.
They're so good, dude. They're so much fun to watch. I think they're just fantastic. There's very few teams that I enjoy watching more than them. You want to go and play passive? You want us to be patient? You want us to stay patient? Fine, we'll just hand it off and run for 350. I mean, there's so many ways for them to beat you. That's what I enjoy most watching them. They are relentless in so many aspects of their game.
That's something, a head coach who doesn't care how he does it, but just wants to win. The ACC saw some real surprises over the weekend. NC State takes down Georgia Tech 48-36. Haynes King goes for 408, 2 touchdowns. There's a little bit more on the defense here. C.J. Bailey throws for 340 and 2 touchdowns. Jaden Scott runs for 196. Georgia Tech outrushed 243 to 151. Outside of Haynes King, Greg, there wasn't a lot else on the ground for Georgia Tech. And I hate to say this is one you kind of saw coming because there had been some flaws with them that had been showing up, but it had not been overly detrimental yet. And some of those, I think, kind of showed up in this game.
Yeah.
NC State did not turn the ball over. So you give them credit for that. They were 7-11 on third down. So they did the things in a game like this that you got to do to win it. It doesn't completely change my view on Georgia Tech. I didn't think they were world beaters before. I still think there's a really good football team. Made some mistakes in this one and ran into a team that was hot.
You can be a good football team and still have flaws. Like, I think Georgia Tech is a flawed outfit. Doesn't mean they're bad. Doesn't mean they can't win a lot of games. To me, it just means that they're not impossible to play against by any stretch. I think they are absolutely a gettable unit on the defensive side. I think they have personnel limitations on that side of the ball. There were a lot of guys wide open in this game. Did you watch this tape?
Yeah.
And there are a lot of guys where they were just busted coverage, guys that they didn't account for, and then they're getting gashed up front. Like, there were guys out of position. They're getting moved off the ball. Like, I can't really attribute it to, is it fatigue or what? I don't know what it was, but the group that we saw that was so sound defensively against Duke, I didn't see that in this game for whatever reason. I don't know why. It just didn't materialize.
Here's the bigger question for me that comes out of this game. What is NC State this year?
They're the ultimate giant killer. They are a team that can play up to anybody, and they can also play down to anybody. The fact that they have 2 wins against Virginia and against Georgia Tech speaks to what their ceiling is, but it also speaks to how maybe that ceiling isn't great on the other end of the equation.
And some of the losses not terrible. Notre Dame, Pitt, BDCU, who's got good quarterback play.
Yeah.
Beat Wake, who has pretty good quarterback play this year, but you lose to Duke, you lose to Virginia Tech.
I know.
They're not going to give you much for the Campbell win, the Camels, but it's a very weird team.
Very.
And this is one, Greg, that I would have said if this was on Thursday night, I would have been okay with everybody picking NC State. I didn't think the spot that they were getting it in was going to be that beneficial, but it's an impressive win nonetheless. I mean, you got to give Doran and those guys credit for going and getting it.
And I like Doran. I like their team, actually, believe it or not. Like, I think they got a pretty good.
He hasn't had many teams that we didn't like. So
no, I like Dave Doran a lot. I think he's a good coach.
He's awesome.
And I think that their team, their quarterback's pretty good, a little streaky. But when he's hot, it's tough to keep up with. He can actually keep you honest with his legs. He's not a great runner, but he's good enough. I just like their team. Like, they went with the backup running back in this game. There's next man up mentality. He runs his tail off.
Yep.
The O-line's always going to be a pretty solid. Maybe not world beaters like they've been in the past, but pretty solid. Well coached. Fight. Will finish through the whistle. There's just a lot of things to like about that team's culture. And to see them play that well was not surprising.
Some folks were surprised with what they got from SMU and Miami. 26-20, SMU gets the win. They're 6-3, 4-1 in the ACC. Miami goes to 6-2, 2-2 in the ACC. Kevin Jennings, 365 through the air, a touchdown, 29-44. Didn't get a lot done on the ground. Did move some, but mostly to open things up down the field. Jordan Hudson, 11 catches, 136 yards. This is another one, Greg, that I think some people, when they saw this line, probably looked at it and saw it coming to an extent.
Yeah.
You had to go there. Rhett gets the extension, and Kevin Jennings kind of goes off. You also force Carson Beck into more mistakes, which seems to be now trending towards the story with Miami. If you can get him to make mistakes, they're in trouble. If you can't, they're going to torch you. I don't know if you laid out that simply for what Miami is, at least on offense. And I didn't think it would turn into that because of the balance that they offered up early in the season. Power run game, perimeter run game, pretty good protection, ability to push the ball down the field. Obviously had guys that in the quick intermediate throws could turn those into explosives. They seemed to kind of be well-rounded out. But not in this one. It wasn't. As Carson Beck throws 2 more picks and Miami goes down again.
Well, the thing that's hard to wrap your head around with this game is that Miami continues to be their own worst enemy, man. They make mistakes. They make critical errors. They have bad penalties. They have frustrating moments where you're sitting there and you're like, what the heck was that? So that's where I struggle with Miami. It's like, it feels like they are very capable at times. And then it feels like there are times when I'm like, why are they doing that? You know, it's a hard team to figure out because they're better. They are from a personnel talent standpoint. They're as good as anybody in I think all of college football. Like their roster is legit just
time.
on talent. But talent is about half the equation. And unfortunately for Miami, some of their biggest vulnerabilities are discipline. And when the game's on the line, making a critical mistake, like a roughing the passer or an interception in the red zone where a guy's where he throws it super late. Like they kind of just seemingly, when it's gotta have it situation, they don't make the play. And I don't know why that is. It's hard to wrap your head around, but it's very, very frustrating at the same time.
Yeah, it's listen, it's tough. And a lot of times I think too, specifically at that place with that culture, you walk a fine line between aggressiveness, discipline, intelligence, overreacting, taking things too far, because they've been, let's call it what it is. They've been walking that line for a long time. And you want the aggressive portion of that. You want the punishment portion of it. You want the intimidation portion of it. But when it goes against your team for 15 yards, obviously you have to know how to wrangle that in and when to not let that happen. And it was costly in this game. So Miami goes down again. How do you view them tonight compared to some of the other teams that are going to be ranked ahead of them?
I don't know where Miami's going to end up tonight. I think they still have a pretty impressive resume up to this point. I know they have 2 losses. I get that. But where are they relative to Notre Dame, things like that? There's stuff that you need to still figure out with Miami because they did play a pretty remarkable non-conference. I know Florida hasn't held up their end of the bargain. I know Florida State hasn't held up their end of the bargain. But to play Notre Dame and South Florida, 2 other teams that are in the college football playoff mix, and to beat both, that does give you a bit of a feather in the cap. But I'll be really curious to see if we're going off eye test, like on your best day, Miami can beat anybody. On their best day, they can beat anybody. But on their worst day, they can lose anybody. And that's a hard thing to figure out from time to time. And I don't know why that is, but they're a very frustrating team to watch. They really are.
Yeah. Some other surprises: West Virginia over Houston, 45-35. That was a big win. My upset pick of the week, Cal over Virginia, did not happen. Virginia gets that win 31-21. Texas Tech over Kansas State, 43-20. Notre Dame held off Boston College, 25-10. I asked you a moment ago, with this loss, what does this mean NC State is? I have another team that falls into that category that I want to present to you that actually won their game this week, but because of their record, I need to know what they are. I'll present that team, ask Greg what he thinks about them next right here on Jocks. So I have another team that I want to ask Greg McElroy kind of, what are you? Because the record says one thing, the result this past weekend says a different thing. And they're a team that had some legit hype going into the season. But sitting at 7-2, 4-2 in conference, a team that I know Greg had appreciation with the win over the weekend because we both had a lot of respect for the team that they absolutely drummed. Are you there yet?
No.
To the tune of 45-14 at home.
Now I am.
Utah knocking off Cincinnati over the weekend.
Yeah.
We both like Cincinnati. We both like Sorsby. We both like their offensive line. There's a lot to like about Utah, and specifically their offensive line. But when you dive into this, Greg, I don't know how much conversation you guys are going to have about Utah tonight. But in a similar conversation with what we talked about with NC State, sort of who are you? Because some really nice wins, but also some really questionable losses. There are no questionable losses for Utah. You lose to Texas Tech and BYU, two really good football teams.
Very good.
Now, I'm probably not going to be able to present you with a laundry list of great wins, but they did beat Arizona State. They did beat Cincinnati. It's probably unfortunate for them that they played Cal Poly in the non-con. But those are two good wins. And West Virginia got a big win over the weekend. So that one on the road maybe looks a smidge better.
Smidge. Still not great.
Not great. But I'm just interested to kind of hear from you. Where is and what is Utah right now in your mind?
Well, I like Utah. I always like Utah. They're an easy team to sell me on. I've always been a fan. I like their program. I like what they stand for. I like the way they're built. Here's the challenge, is that while you reference the two losses to Texas Tech and BYU, the strength of schedule is fine. It's at 54. Not great. Not good. But do have the win against Arizona State that you reference. You do have the win against Cincinnati that you reference. Everyone else you've beaten is below 500. And here's the other challenge with Utah, is there's no one remaining on the schedule that is going to significantly improve your strength of schedule. You go to Baylor, you get Kansas State at home, you get Kansas on the road. Those are three teams that are around 500.
It's not going to hurt it.
Not going to hurt it.
It's not going to wow a lot of people.
But it's
either.
not going to strengthen it.
Yeah.
Utah's only chance to win the Big 12. And with two losses in the league right now, that feels pretty insurmountable, especially knowing the two teams sitting in front of you are in the driver's seat. So what you would need badly is for BYU to lose this week to Texas Tech and then lose to Cincinnati, a team that you beat, but they still have the head-to-head against you. But if you can create a three-way tie, you can get in the Big 12 title game potentially to play against Texas Tech. So it's not easy. It's not a glamorous path. You of course have to win out 10-2 at the bare minimum, 7-2 in the Big 12. But I think you're looking at a 10% chance of getting to the Big 12 title game.
Yeah.
Maybe less.
Yeah.
Probably less.
I think they're a good football team. 6 turnovers in those 2 losses. So that tells a big portion of the story right there.
Correct.
And, that we knew coming in that was going to be a little bit new for them. And that, Devin Dampier was going to be a guy that gave you some explosive capabilities, but at the same time, not always the cleanest passer.
Far from it.
But you throw the ball to the other team, put the ball on the ground, it's going to probably prevent you from getting wins against good football teams, and that's exactly what's happened with them. It's just, what are they going to be able to prove to move up in people's opinions of how good they may be? That's going to be the question with Utah, I think. And I don't know if they had those games. But
I just don't know if the Big 12 or the ACC is going to be given enough benefit of the doubt to get to the point where they actually do get an at-large team.
What do you think the chances are when this is all said and done that the ACC and or one steal one bid from the Big 10 or the SEC?
What are the odds of them stealing one from the SEC?
Correct. Because you look at the ACC right now. Virginia is at 5-0. Georgia Tech, Pitt, Louisville, SMU, Duke are all 4-1 in conference. So a lot of teams are still vying for the conference championship game.
Yeah.
And all you got to do is get in and win that, and you're in. Right?
I would think.
Big 12, BYU 5-0, Texas Tech, Cincinnati 5-1. Then We talked about Utah, but you also have Houston, Arizona State there at 4-2, TCU at 3-2. A lot of teams vying there. So whether it is and it's going to have to happen where one of these teams we're not talking about most likely wins the league, and then they look at a team like, say, a Texas Tech, okay, you're still in, or BYU loses conference title game, still goes.
Yeah.
I think that's probably – would you agree that's the way it has to happen for one of these bids to go?
Yeah, you would need BYU to probably be undefeated and lose the Big 12 championship.
I would imagine they'd be tough to keep out right there. With the way things are going in the SEC and the Big Ten, more so the Big Ten, I think it'd be tough to keep that BYU team out.
I don't disagree. But the Big Ten's probably an all – now, that's operating on the assumption that Oregon runs the table.
Fair.
Big assumption. They could lose this week at Iowa. It would not surprise me.
It's a tricky game.
At all. It would not surprise me at all. Now, I think Oregon's better than Iowa. I think they have more firepower than Iowa. But if Oregon loses one down the stretch, now you have a 2-loss team with Oregon, and you look at their strength of schedule, it's not great. Is that enough to keep them in? What if they lose 2 down the stretch? Now they're really out, right? I think guaranteeing 3 teams in the Big Ten right now is a bit premature.
Yeah.
So the SEC, I think you could feel very confident in 4 teams getting in.
Okay.
Do you feel the same way?
Yeah.
Now, I think you could probably put it like a 45% chance they get 5 teams in. A lot depends on what happens with Texas down the road. A lot depends what happens with Georgia beating Georgia Tech. Some of that depends on Oklahoma stealing 2 down the stretch that you might not expect. What happens with Vandy? Can Vandy win out? I mean, there's a lot of question marks remaining. It's a hard one to present right now, where you can get to 5. It just feels like a lot.
It is. I'll tell you what else is a lot. The margin of victory in today's bad box scores of the day.
Oh, boy.
Plural. Early season college basketball is the gift that keeps on giving to this segment. Before we get to it, though, tell our listeners about Shannara Flooring.
Well, Fu and his guys have been doing it for a long time. They have been stockpiling inventory. They now have 50,000 square feet of CoreTech flooring by Shaw in stock today. Every single one of those planks is durable, dependable, and it comes with a 20 mil wear layer. It's built to last and priced to move. No one in town has the CoreTech that Fu has. And with savings of 20 to 40%, it's a deal you just can't touch. So remember Shannara Flooring. When you want CoreTech, call who? Call Fu. Call him today at Shannara Flooring, 205-518-6423, or you can go online at fuandyou.com.
Bad box scores of the day next, right here on Jocks. The bad box score of the day will be plentiful. We might not even get to many bad actual box scores, just bad scores. There's so many to run through. First, I'll tell you about Game Day Men's Health right here at 9:50, Tuesday, November 4th on Jocks 94.5. If you are feeling on edge, lacking sleep, lacking energy, Game Day Men's Health wants to help you. You need to lose some weight? They can help you there at Game Day Men's Health. Just go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com today. Sign up for the free consultation. Holistic approach to health and wellness. Minimal upfront cost from all the programs that they offer. They're not going to try to push you into any programs that you don't need. Locker room environment, great people. Just go get the free consultation today. They're open now in Trustville. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. They want to help you feel better. Go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com today. Sign up for that free consultation. You save 10% on any service they offer by mentioning Mac and Cube in the morning at Game Day Men's Health. All right, let's get to our bad box scores of the day.
Personal foul, 69, offense. He was giving them the business.
Intentional grounding, offense number 7. It's a 10-yard penalty. I'm talking to America here, excuse me.
That's the game.
All right, we'll go to the women's college basketball from yesterday. The San Diego
Superchargers.
I feel like they're the gosh, I know this. It's like a Spanish word.
It is.
Gauchos.
Close.
Grouchos.
Not close.
Oh.
Toreros.
Toreros.
Yeah.
They took on Bethesda University.
They're the Bulls.
They're not.
No,
I'm going to tell you right now, I think this is my all-time number one mascot we've had.
Trenchman.
Blue Donkeys. I don't know. I feel like
my fault.
Great guess, by the way.
I feel like it's the hand of the date.
Never heard this before. The Lion Angels.
Wow.
Ah.
All right.
Aggressive
Sign
yet,
me up. I'll take it.
aggressive yet soft.
Both at the same time. Points were something that the Lion Angels did not find at the same time as San Diego as they went down 92-23
Not great.
yesterday.
Ouch.
Your score at the end of the first, 19-1.
So at least 50% from the free
It
throw
was
line.
42-9 at the half.
Scored more in the second quarter.
Yeah,
That's
did.
good.
The Lion Angels were 5 of 18 from 3.
Okay.
They shot 7 of 41 from the floor. It's not ideal. I mean, it's not exactly what you're looking for there. Turnovers, obviously a problem. Turned it over 36 times.
The old more turnovers than points.
Happens.
Now, I'm some of the numbers are included here, so I don't know if other numbers are just an error of not being recorded, but I'm going to run through these just because this is what's listed. And some actually do have numbers that are not just 0. For the Lion Angels, points in the paint, 2.
Okay.
Points
2.
off turnovers, 3.
Okay.
Second chance points, none.
None.
Fast break points,
Ofer? How do you know they didn't
None.
just keep track of these things?
See?
bench points,
0.
none.
Okay, so fast break point 0, second chance point 0. They didn't hustle. So they deserved to lose the way they did.
I'm not sure anybody deserves to lose that bad. Damien,
No.
But here are just a couple others for you yesterday. McNeese took down Pensacola Christian 100-38.
Ouch.
Southeast Louisiana took down Centenary 105-49.
Centenary.
These are women's hoop scores. Youngstown State took down Thiel. Thiel has been on this side of bad box scores in
I feel
many
like I've heard them
sports
before.
many times.
Sounds familiar.
104-33.
Okay.
Oklahoma State took down New Orleans. Sorry, John. 109-48
like-
yesterday.
Took a whole state to take down a city. I'll take it.
Iowa State took down St. Thomas, Minnesota, 85-36.
Okay.
Ouch.
Maryland took down Loyola, Maryland,
Loyola, Maryland?
Yeah.
There's so many Loyolas.
80-26.
Okay.
Now, Texas, not quite as bad on one end, but they took down Incarnate Word 123-51 in women's hoops yesterday.
All
Take
right.
that, Cam Ward.
123-51. You're excited you scored 51, but And old Warren Wilson, I feel bad for him. He went down to Presbyterian 113-45 yesterday.
Not
Took
great.
on a whole religion.
In your combined bad box score of the day, Sam Houston knocked off Southwestern Christian 58-39. We call that a no-score game.
A no score.
A lot of defense.
Over.
A lot of defense.
Yes.
A lot of whole heap of defense.
3 free throws and a cloud of dust.
Love that.
Also, Austin P just snuck past Swanee yesterday, 115-46. South Dakota over York College, New York. Why would it not just be New York College? 104-33. You deserve that with your name.
You don't.
You did.
York College, New
You got
York.
Oh, York of New York.
Someone's going to have to help me with that one. Texas A&M Corpus Christi knocked off College of Biblical Studies 100-30. Almost feel bad saying that.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
Feel like I should have stayed away from that one. Florida State knocked off Florida A&M 112-39.
Eee.
Okay.
Abilene Christian, once again, poor Howard Payne out there playing by himself. He lost 103-33 yesterday.
Put up a fight though.
North Texas over Oklahoma Christian 106-36. They're never ending. I could just get Eastern Kentucky over Transylvania 95-41.
Transylvania?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it must have been the daytime.
The count couldn't even score. Furman over North Greenville 85-27. Wofford over Converse. A freaking shoes out there playing and lost 126-65.
Yeah, but it was a dog though. What do you expect?
True.
Jackson State over Mississippi University 117-40. They just go. We could do that. We could do a whole 3-man front on bad box scores yesterday. Kansas over Omaha 100-35.
That sounds about right.
Stonehill knocked off Bridgewater State 83-38 yesterday.
Take that, Teddy.
Little Rock over Central Baptist 99-41. We'll be back tomorrow. 3-man front is next.